that time again. It is the cathartic part of our year where we get the scorpionic new moon. This is a time to reassess, to go really deep into an authentic space. And this new moon is so packed full of energy. My name is Lindsay Natalia. I am a practicing astrologer. I do chart readings, etc., etc. But today I really just want to focus in with you and try to hear what this new moon is calling to us, because there are many layers. We're going to talk about all of those layers today, and the Sabian symbol, and a few other things that I think you'll be able to relate to. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to pull up the chart right now. All right, here we are on astro-seek.com. It is a free website. So if you look up here, this M with the scorpion tail is our symbol for Scorpio, and all these planets, even though they look like they're in Sagittarius, they're all on the same few degrees here towards the end of Scorpio. In addition to the moon here being with the sun, we have Mercury retrograde backing up into it. Beep, 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 backing into a Cazimi with the sun. Black moon Lilith is right here. This is a point in the sky that is not a planet, but it is indicating the distance that the moon is away from the Earth. So the moon has its orbit and it's not a perfect circle. So there's apogee and perigee. It also inspires us to look at that Lilith concept, which is an exile, but it's in self-inflicted exile as well. So she was exiled, but she also chose to not do the things, not to conform. But in the end, we can flip that around into something that's more empowered. The moon is in its fall in Scorpio, just because in Taurus, it just loves all those things growing and blooming and all this life and fecundity and babies. But over there in Scorpio, it's a little more of a challenge, it's a heartbreak, because that's where you have to release and let go of the material things. It leads us to a more spiritual connection, but some of those material things are almost impossible to let go of. Venus is in exile because it's in domicile in Taurus, which just means that Venus is a little bit more technically challenged. Over in Scorpio, she's more of the goth version of Venus, incredibly devoted and sensual in a way that goes beyond the surface level. So all of that together, and you still see there's a triangle here. This triangle indicates a trine. It's connecting to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and also Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer is very, very powerful because it's exalted in its best position. And then we all have a little bit of a face-off with Uranus. Uranus likes to destabilize things, and when it's back there in Taurus until April, there's one last go of it that we're experiencing. So that part of your life is going to have one last shakeup, and you're kind of going to see what you've learned since 2018 with this. It's embedded into this new moon, so we're putting these seeds into the future. Will bloom in 6 months, but this adds a little bit of destabilization and a challenge, the rascally challenge of Uranus. The emotions are hinging on authenticity and depth. So we're going to look next at the Sabian symbol and just sort of feel into it and get this concept, this mother, moon, Lilith, and also the Jupiter in Cancer. It's bringing all these pieces together. This is from jamesburgess.com, Sabian symbol, Indian woman pleading to her chief for the lives of her children. Scorpio 29, this is the anaretic degree. This is really at the end of this story. This is the mother that's just, please don't kill my children. I mean, this is so deep, right? And so what he's saying here is that there's a prayer to a force that brings peace instinctually when the behavior goes outside the limits. So these children, these metaphorical children, which he relates to the soul, the ego and the soul, that the moon or this mother is part of the soul, and the chief is also part of the soul, and the ego is these unruly sons who are wild and they have to go make mistakes. Part of this shadow that we're facing is potentially from mistakes that we made in our youth, or mistakes that were placed upon us, or these scripts or these things that we think we have to do or be, that were laid on us, that were layered into our strata, that maybe need to come to the surface now and be processed. That this mother entity, this dark moon, with this Lilith, this quietness far away, the intercession on the behalf of this inner child or this piece of us that needs love, the shadow that if we don't accept it, that it's part of us, it's part of every single person that's ever lived. The greatest of us have had a shadow that that without that we can't really truly be whole. The love that we need to have for even the darkest parts of us, that's not easy, but it is required. And so this new moon may be an opportunity to do that. Here's another one I wanted to show you. This is mindfire.ca, and this is all of Dane Rudhyar's actual words. His is an Indian squaw pleading to the chief for the lives of her children, love as a principle of redemption. This just goes one step deeper into the love that we must tap into. That's primal, the primal optimism of the love, no matter what happens, of a mother for her child, right? So the soul is presented as a mother whose sons, her active energies, have become disruptive forces in the collective life of the tribe, as she seeks to counteract the karma of their misdeeds through her love and implorations. The soul is responsive to the experience of unity, the spiritual king or chief, but the energies of human nature often follow their self-seeking, divisive tendencies. This is the fourth symbol in the 48th sequence. It presents us with the value of prayer, the principle of wholeness in man. The soul acts to offset or attenuate the dictates of karma. In a religious sense, Mary, the mother, is seen as the mediatrix in constant acts of intercession for the sake of waylaid individuals. The Mother Mary is brought in here. If you notice, there's so much going on the news and on social media, and it's just not real. And the AI stuff is getting very convincing. So I was shown a video yesterday of this Chinese guy who was this cute little Chinese old monk, right? And the background's beautiful, but it's like, this looks too beautiful. And then you look at more of his videos, his face slightly changes in each video. I'm like, that's not the same guy, start noticing. That's what we're also feeling here with this scorpionic energy. There's this no BS zone, this authenticity that's built in. We just know it. It's in our gut. We just feel it. And so what it is that totally, I had to look it up, is this guy's completely AI, but they finally have to say that he's AI, but he's to the point where you almost can't tell. And he sells his book for $10, and it's all this like stuff that's directed towards Westerners that want to have this kind of little Chinese dude, guru guy. And it's just so inauthentic and so fake. It's beautiful in a way, kind of, I guess, because he's sharing really good information. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm conflicted. But this is where it comes to reality. So yesterday, I was in Berkeley and having a tough time in general and certain things in my life, just like everybody else. Some rough stuff going on. Okay. And so a lot of emotions, which is apropos for this scorpionic period. I've never been to Berkeley before. We were walking down the street and there was a shop, and it was a Tibetan shop. And so really into these Tibetan bowls, the singing bowls that are handmade. They're 7 metals. They're just incredible, and they align with the chakras. And so we have some of them. We have 5. Actually, we have 3 the really special ones. So we went in, and there was this gentleman there, and he didn't come to talk to us or anything at first. And he was actually watching YouTube, sitting down. It was kind of charming. And so just kind of walked around, and they just said hello and stuff. And so then we asked if he had the bowls. And of course he did. Incredible collection of these handmade Tibetan bowls. And he turned off his YouTube. He's like, I'll show you some stuff. I'm like, okay. And so he said, picked up this bowl, and he said, can I do practice with you, or can I show you? And yeah. And so he puts the big bowl onto her head and bangs on it. And so the whole vibration of this 7 metals Tibetan handmade bowl is going through. I've never experienced anything like it. It was so real. It was so amazing. It's hard to put it into words, but the frequency that aligns with your brain, aligns with the liquid in your body. I don't know. So there was this period that was banging it in different ways. Sounds terrible, banging this metal thing on your head. It was beautiful. So we got to experience that. And then he took the bowl and put it on the back and started banging it on the back along the line of the spine in all these different spaces. And then left it at the bottom, resonating on the tail, like just right above the tailbone. And all the issues, all the problems, all the emotion, that I was feeling, all that heaviness just went away. Just went away. And I was like, wow, it brought all of it to the surface, and I could appreciate it and just say, yes, I see you. These challenges are hard, and it's okay. It's okay. It's all going to be okay. And how beautiful this man was to share his gift, and so authentic. Didn't try to sell me anything, didn't try to do anything. It was just like the legit thing that we're looking for in that AI little guru dude, this literal Tibetan man. And then he started talking about the prayer of Om Mani Padme Hum. And actually, that was something I really got into in 2020. I was listening to a ton of Ram Dass, and that was one of the mantras that I learned how important it was. And it's the jewel of the lotus, and it's compassion. And it's something that we say that when we want to rise up out of darkness, the compassion that we have for others, and even the ones that bring us into the feeling of darkness, that there is some jewel in that lotus as well. How beautiful that can be. So then he took us to the front, and there was a big, big Tibetan bowl, big one, and he had all these lotus, like they're not real, but they were they're there. He says, watch this, watch this. And so he said, banging on this water in this giant lotus bowl, and all the water starts dancing and vibrating and moving. Nothing comes out. It just all resonates in. And he said, this is your body. Your body is the earth. You have 75% water inside of you, and 30% skeleton, 25% of 30% of earth. That's what we are. And so all that inside of you is being clear. It's being resonated with. I just thought that was so beautiful. And then he also took the bowl, and he went around and made the sound, the high pitch sound. And then while it was making that pitch sound, he hit it with the whatever. It sounds terrible when I say hit it, but that's what they do. They have a mallet. And so it made that deeper resonant sound, boom, and then the high pitch, and they are compatible in a way that's so beautiful. And he says, this is the masculine and the feminine of the bowl. And I never thought of that. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That even within all things, there is compatibility. There is the duality that needs to be there to balance the other thing. The yin and the yang is in everything, even in a singing bowl. So the point of me telling you that is that I was in a darkness, and having that experience that was real, authentic, brought me to a place where I could accept the challenges and see them in their fruitful darkness. How beautiful it is that those challenges lead us to a higher level, a higher place. Okay, now I have a silly one. Of course, we got to put something silly in here. So the other day I was just watching YouTube, and I picked a video called 20 Most Fascinating, or 20 something about the Flintstones. It was 20 jaw-dropping facts about the Flintstones. And I'm like, okay, I loved the Flintstones as a kid. What's so jaw-dropping about it? And so I'm just going to play it for you, and you can try to tell me what you think it is that made me go, this isn't good. Okay, hang on, I'm gonna pull it up for you.
Remember rushing home to catch the Flintstones? That Stone Age family that made prehistory feel like suburbia? This wasn't just TV's first primetime cartoon. It was absolutely unhinged behind the scenes.
Who is that dude? Not a real dude. That voice is like chalkboard for me. I cannot stand that guy's voice. And I feel sorry for people that sound like that guy, because he's going to be forever thought of as the AI voice. And the way that they talk about it, that's like 20 unhinged, it's just it's so unreal, right? There's I only got through 5 of them because I could not stand the dude's voice, but one of them was that the Winston cigarettes were the sponsor. So Fred and Barney used to hide out behind the house when they were supposed to do lawn duty or something and smoke cigarettes, and that was part of the plot. And the other one that was interesting is that the Flintstones was the first couple, married couple, shown in sharing a bed together. So that happened in a cartoon before it happened in real life. Anyways, this is just kind of what is coming up for me right now. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. The Sabian symbol feels like the pleading of our soul to accept all parts and see it in a more compassionate way and look for the light inside of all these experiences, even when they can be very challenging. As always, I like you just the way you are. I'm looking forward to a lot of more sharing in the future. I'm working on some big stuff in the background to make astrology more palatable, to make it more understandable, to make it more useful. That's what I really want for you, to make it so that you can understand and apply it right away. So that's kind of what I'm working on in the background here. So I'm excited to share more about that in the future. I'll say it again because it's worth saying 100 times. I like you just the way you are. And thank you again for being here. Okay, I'll talk to you next time.